Hello, and welcome to the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute at Berkshire Community College. We are a community of over 1,500 people committed to learning and having fun. We offer 5 semesters of peer-led courses each year taught by volunteer instructors, and additionally offer scores of events, speakers, and programs to connect the members of our OLLI community with each other and the world. I'm Carol Allman-Morton, the Executive Director of OLLI at BCC. We are a volunteer-driven organization. In addition to courses and events, we have a number of special interest groups that members are welcome to join. You can learn more at berkshireolli.org/SIG. We have a number of events coming up soon, and you can see a complete listing again on our website, berkshireolli.org/events. The fall semester begins September 18th. Most classes will meet for 6 sessions, though some for more and a few for fewer. Courses will be a mix of in-person and online, about 50-50 this year between online and in-person on campus and around the county. Thank you to our instructors for your expertise and care in leading these courses. And thank you to all the volunteers on our curriculum committees who made this semester possible. As you may know, for our open houses this fall, we are piloting offering an online version for our online classes and in-person for our in-person classes. The in-person open house is August 22nd, and this video is going out on that same day to our email list. Registration opens August 23rd, and if you're watching this before then, the course information is now live online. On many of the course description pages, there are videos from instructors to give an introduction to their classes. For our online courses, these are compiled in this video, but if you also want to see information about some of our in-person classes or watch only some of the intros, you can go to berkshireolli.org/fall 2023 and look class by class and, of course, register. If you run into trouble, give us a call at 413-236-2190. And again, the fall catalog is at berkshireolli.org/fall 2023. Thank you so much, and I hope you enjoy learning more about what's coming up this fall at OLLI at BCC. Be well.
Hi, my name is Richard Eason. I'm teaching a course this coming cycle for OLLI Berkshire on what I call everything you wanted to know about the Middle East but were afraid to ask. I'm a retired Foreign Service officer. I spent 32 years serving the State Department overseas, most of it in 9 different countries. I did serve in 5 countries in the Middle East, living there for from 1 to 3 years. My course will be about a survey of the countries of the Middle East, all the way from Morocco to Iran. It will also look not just at individual countries, but issues like Islam, oil, economic issues, American involvement in the region, and also it'll look briefly at the forever wars that we've had off and on in the Middle East. And I'll also go into a little bit about the culture. I'll talk to a little bit about Arabic language, which I speak fluently. I had 2 years of training full-time to be able to speak Arabic. And so it'll be open to any kind of questions you have. I particularly am designing this for people who have no real experience in the Middle East, who haven't lived in the Middle East. And so I'll be able to do that. Also, my wife, who is Palestinian by origin, but born in Kuwait, Jordanian citizen, will also have half of one of my sessions. She will be talking and giving her experiences. She was a journalist in the Middle East for 10 years, and she was also in Kuwait when Saddam invaded and was under Iraqi occupation for 2 months. So she'll be talking about that as well. I hope you'll decide to sign up for my class. I'm looking forward to sharing my background and experiences with all of you, and I hope to see you later in the fall. Thank you very much.
Hi. My name is Duncan Ryan Mann, and I'm teaching the course Topics in Social Security and Medicare. Are you interested in learning more about Social Security and Medicare? In this course, we will examine a range of current issues related to Social Security and Medicare. To gain a better understanding of these 2 gigantic social programs, we will consider the historical background and development of these programs that help explain how we got to where we are today. We will take a fairly close look at the structure of the revenues and expenditures for each of these programs. There will be plenty of time during each class for questions and discussion of many of the important issues that face Social Security and Medicare. Just a few of the questions that will be open for discussion and debate include, can Social Security and Medicare survive the baby boom generation? What are some of the alternative proposals for improving the financial outlook for each of these programs? How do Social Security and Medicare compare to the social insurance and healthcare programs in other countries? I look forward to seeing you in class. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lisa Swigert. I'm excited to be teaching the OLLI class this coming up fall for genealogy research. Some of the topics that we're going to cover during this class are how to organize our materials and figure out how to set up files and things like that. We're going to talk about validating information, how DNA plays a role in genealogy research today. We're going to look at some forms and figure out how to set them up, and the forms and charts and all those things that help us to keep our ancestors, keep them in line, right? Keep them in line. We're going to learn how to develop a research plan and stick to it, and also learn how to develop research notes and how they are so helpful in processing the information that we're bringing in on the individuals. So there's so many things that we're going to be talking about, and that's just actually a few of them. So I hope that you guys can go over and look on the OLLI site and see if you are available. The first class begins September 18th, and that will be at 3:30 till 5 o'clock. It's on Mondays, generally from 3:30 to 5 o'clock, starting September 18th. There are a couple of vacation days in there, so just go over and look at that and see if it matches your schedule. But I hope to see you there. Thanks. Bye now.
Hello, I am Linda Neville. I am honored to be presenting William Faulkner's Light in August this September. And as I understand it, it will be Tuesdays on Zoom from 9:30 to 11, starting September 19th. As this book is quite a long book, I hope you'll get started soon and give it a try. I myself have been never in a course on Hawthorne, I'm sorry, I'm saying Hawthorne, but because some of you know I've been researching Nathaniel Hawthorne, but I will make a connection between Hawthorne and Faulkner for those that are interested in what I found out this summer. It's William Faulkner, and he has written this book. It was published in 1932. And it was after The Sound of Fury, after As I Lay Dying, and after Sanctuary. It's also after he married a sweetheart, and she was divorced, and he married his young sweetheart, Estelle Oldman. I think all of this led up to Light in August. I chose it also because Peter Bloom, in the last course I had on George Saunders, had said, I would really love to find a book that's challenging and a book that I can really get into. And to you, Peter, and to you, Richard, thank you for the opportunity to teach this book. My hope and objective for this course is that I find daily I have run into media on television, online, everywhere, where people are referring back to the 1930s. And I personally have never, again, studied the 30s very much. And I also do not know much about the South. So I went on a journey on my own, sort of serendipity wise, when I was cleaning out some of my old teacher papers and found a Light in August amongst my papers and various books. Teachers grab these in the summertime when rooms are cleared, and it was the only book I had of Faulkner. I now since have acquired just about every book he ever wrote, and find him fascinating. I also find his perspective in Light in August to give me some real answers on why we are in the shape America is in now. Culturally speaking, I think it's healthy for us to delve into cross-cultural studies, understand why people do certain things for certain reasons. And I hope that it will shed some light and we'll have some really good discussions. I welcome open opinions. I want it to be a course where it's you as a reader. How does Faulkner affect you and inspire you or disgust you or whatever? I'm hoping for a really class course that it involves lively discussions and a lot of questions and answers. So come get started with Light in August. And if you feel it's something you would like to talk with others, then please join my class. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jay Sherwin, and I'm leading a 4-session online course on writing a legacy letter for Ollie at BCC starting on September 19th. I hope you'll join us. These days, so many of us are thinking about what's really important to us, what we're proud of, what we're grateful for, what our lives have taught us. A legacy letter is a wonderful way to express those ideas. It's a gift to yourself and the people you love. So, what is a legacy letter? It's a brief personal statement that you write, share with loved ones, and preserve for future generations. It's shorter than a memoir, typically just a few pages, so it allows you to focus on your most important life lessons, your values, and the blessings you want to offer your family and friends. In the course, I'll offer some advice and a simple model I've created to help you organize your thoughts and start writing. We'll complete a few brief writing exercises in each session, and I'll invite people to share some of what they've written. That's the best part of the course. You'll get a little practice with this, and you'll get a chance to hear from others. I hope that will inspire you and encourage you to keep writing. I've taught this course for Ollie programs all over the country, and the response has been really positive. I'm very excited about teaching it again for Ollie at BCC. So please join me on September 19th and learn to write a legacy letter. I hope to see you then.
Hello, I'm Steve Noble, and I will be teaching a new course for Ollie in the fall. It's the Alarming Leadership Vacuum. Why, what, how, and what next. I taught facilitated a similar course for 7 years with MBAs in Boston University, and obviously it's a different contingent than you folks and me. I also taught an online course on leadership for a group of 20 retired professionals, and this was a group in Cambridge. The course description is pretty self-evident. At least I think it is. And my bio is there. It's there mainly to talk about the kinds of leadership positions that I have, and I've been a consultant to leaders in nonprofit organizations, and also done a lot of research on effective leadership. The course will be facilitated through presentations, through not lectures, through guest speakers, hopefully, and video clips, and small group discussions. The course, to the extent that I can make it, will be very interactive. It'll also be very relevant to you, and I'll explain that in a second, and it will be enjoyable because I love teaching leadership and I love hearing different positions. A couple of things quickly, which we'll go over. Leadership is definitely not synonymous with management, how it's different. We'll talk about that. You do not have to be a leader to exert leadership. There are people who are in different roles within organizations or families, and they're not designated as leaders, nor is leaders always exerting leadership. Many do not. We can cite examples. I'm going to limit the number of times I say the word Trump in the course. We'll also be talking about toxic leaders and how leaders gained their responsibilities. As I said, it's going to be relevant to you, not only in your interest in the field and leaders on the scene, but also understanding better the ways that you lead groups, lead discussions, lead yourself, which is actually the most important aspects of being an effective leader, is leading yourself. If you have any questions, feel free to email me at sjnoble, Noble, 7777 @gmail.com. I look forward to seeing many of you in September. Enjoy the rest of this summer, hopefully with more sun than with rain. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you all for taking time to learn about our workshop from first to final draft and how it came about. Like many of you, I retired after a long career, after which I thought it would be fun to write short stories about family, work, travel, and the people I met along the way. I'd taken writing classes for years, but I was rusty, so I wrote one very short story and left it sitting on my laptop for weeks until one day, tired of looking at it, I decided to finish it once and for all and send it out for publication. When it was accepted, no one was more surprised than I was. But I was encouraged and I kept at it. I joined a writer's group, I took some classes, I found a narrative voice that felt just right. I was having a great time taking experiences from my life and crafting stories I thought others would enjoy. After I retired, I heard from many of my friends that they were trying to do the same thing. They just needed a review of the basics, a coach, feedback from some other writers, and a deadline. That's what we'll do in this interactive workshop. After the first intro session, each participant will pick one story to work on for the next 5 weeks. Maybe the one story you have always wanted to tell, the one that makes your friends laugh, a story that enlightens, informs, or just simply entertains, a story that's been sitting on your laptop for months, or maybe you'll write a brand new one. By the end of our 6-week workshop, with some support from other OLLI participants, with a little work, you'll have a finished piece that, if you wish, you can send out for publication. During our first 5 weeks, as you're writing and editing, I'll be your coach, sharing examples from masters of the craft and lessons from teachers who helped me along the way. We'll review the basics of storytelling, what makes a great plot, what makes an engaging character, how do you create a narrator with a voice who keeps your attention, what's the best point of view for your story, and how do you incorporate description and dialogue and humor, if that's your thing. Writers are free to write fiction, nonfiction, or my favorite, creative nonfiction, stories grounded in real experience and shaped by the writer to tell a story and make a point. Add a character or leave one out, change names to protect the innocent or the guilty, add a few years or drop some off. The beauty of creative nonfiction is how it gives the writer license to create a personal piece of work that entertains Throughout the course, participants will read their work for helpful comments and ideas from the others. If you've taken writing class, you're familiar with this process of critiquing, and if you're new to it, we will review the protocols for effective critique, which you can use in any future classes or workshops. At our final session, we'll review sources and options for publication and ways to increase the odds that your piece is accepted. And we'll discuss and share how participants developed a writing habit during the 6 weeks we were together. Throughout the workshop, I'll be available to answer questions. And after our last session, I'll look forward to hearing about the success of your piece. There's no required reading, but there are a few books I found useful and thought-provoking. I'll send a list along to registered participants before the sessions begin. I hope to see you this fall via Zoom, of course. And until then, happy writing.
Hi there, I'm Mariah, the Community Conservation Manager for the Berkshire Natural Resources Council, and I'm excited to share more about the Berkshire Naturalist course for the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute at Berkshire Community College, taking place this fall. So this course will offer naturalist interpretation relevant to what you see in the Berkshire outdoors. It's designed for those who are currently hike leaders or for those who are aspiring to be. And the goal is really to deepen the participants' knowledge of the natural world to be able to share it with others effectively. So I'll be teaching some parts of the course and leading the facilitation. I'll also be joined by Charlotte Hood, BNRC's Volunteer and Outreach Coordinator, and Mark Brandress, BNRC Volunteer and Lecturer Emeritus in Geosciences at Smith College. We'll also have other community members who have specific expertise to share on occasion in the class. So this is a 6-session course that will take place within 4 virtual classes and 2 on-trail classes. The virtual classes will be a deep dive into specific subjects with plenty of time for conversation and questions. Some of the subjects include geology, land use history, and climate change, and Berkshire flora and fauna. The on-trail classes will involve hiking about 2 miles each day at an easy to moderate pace and applying your interpretive skills in real time. We'll also be hiking in peak fall colors, so that's a plus. And we'll highlight other organizations and resources throughout the class to help you continue your learning. So by the end of the course, it is our goal that you'll have the tools to identify local features from viewpoints on the trails, common Berkshire rock types, common trees and shrubs, and common Berkshire wildlife, and as well as the broad strokes of human history that impact today's forests. And last but not least, you'll have the tools to create a naturalist hiking experience for others. So thanks so much, and we're looking forward to it.
Hi, I'm Andy, the soon-to-be leader of the Recreational Mathematics 2 series. I'm a lover of math, puzzles, and games, and I enjoy sharing my passion. During my career, I've been a math teacher, substitute, and tutor, and I've had the opportunity to collect various puzzles and games and topics that are usually not normally covered in the high school curriculum that I think are particularly fun and interesting, and I'd like to share those. Now, I had a series of 4 that were mostly number-oriented, and the feedback I got that I was a little bit too much math and a little too fast. So if this new series, which is geometrically oriented, I tried to tone down the math a little bit and provide the examples with arts and crafts. Now, I won't have knowledge of the background of the people who are attending, so any real-time feedback about my speed or questions would be most helpful. Remember, there's no such thing as a stupid question, and I hope I'd be smart enough to be able to answer them. Not always. Now, there's of these sessions, their topics are as follows: Flexagon and making your own personalized birthday card, Mobius strips and Klein bottles and making intertwined hearts, polar coordinates and creating your own multicolored, multi-petaled flower designs, tessellations and symmetry groups and designing your own tile and wallpaper designs, platonic solids, and building your own multifaceted dice. Königsberg problem and designing your own puzzles for your friends. And loci and conics and cycloids and designing your own string art. Truth be told, there is math in these sessions, but you can enjoy them several different ways. You can focus on the math and not do the arts and crafts, focus on the arts and crafts and not do the math, or do both. Each session will contain jokes, quotes, puzzles, and are heavily sourced so that if any particular area tickles your fancy, you can have ideas of how to pursue them on your own. For each session, there will be a prep file about what to bring or do before the class, the notes for the topics of the day that you can read ahead or read along, and solutions file so that you have the answers to the puzzles. Thank you very much for your time and interest. Hope to see you there. Take care. Bye-bye now.
Hi, I'm Dale Fink, and I invite you to take my class on picture books. As the title says, they're not just for our grandchildren, or for that matter, great-grandchildren. I've always loved picture books, and I'm going to give you a reason in this course that you can still like them even when there are no young ones around to enjoy them with you. I hope by the end of this course you'll agree with me that as we think of Frida Kahlo in visual art, or Margaret Atwood in writing a novel, or August Wilson in writing a play, we can think of some of the great authors and author illustrators in the arena of picture books as being on the same level of artistic achievement. Picture books always have at least three components. They are, first of all, physical objects. They are a designed product. Some are very large, some are smaller. They have color, they have shape, they have texture. They use certain colors. They don't necessarily use all colors. They have a certain number of pages. Some have some blank pages. Some have illustrations on every page. Some have the text separated from the illustrations. Others may have text more mixed in with illustrations. So it's a product. It's something that requires design. And then, of course, the two more standard elements that people think about first would be the illustrations and the text. And the text is not always narrative, but in this course, we are going to focus on picture books that all have narratives, because that's what I like the best. And because it's my class, we're going to choose 5 or 6 of my favorite picture book authors and author illustrators to study. Some I think you will have already encountered, such as Maurice Sendak. Others you may not have encountered, such as Mordecai Gerstein. And I hope that you will join this class with the intention of being very participatory, because that's what I have in mind. I am going to introduce some ways of thinking about children's books at the very first class, and showcase some children's books and show you how I look and think about them at the text, at the illustrations, at the design of the books. And then I'm going to invite you, I'm going to tell you the names of the other authors, and I'm going to suggest that if you can, you choose 1 or 2 of these authors and author illustrators and go out to the children's section of your local library and see if you can find a few of their books, bring them to class, and based on who brings things to class, I will focus, when we have a discussion about Mordecai Gerstein, for example, I'll find out who brought 1 or more of his books to class, and I'll let you read portions. I'll give you some specific structure to find a passage, find a page that has an illustration that's meaningful, find a page or part of the narrative that perhaps represents what you think is the deeper theme of the book. And we'll discuss all of these matters, the colors, the shapes, the composition, the forms, the design, the narrative, the character development, and ultimately what are the meaning and deeper themes in these books. And I have chosen and will be choosing authors that I think bring us some very important and powerful themes that we can discuss. I look forward to you joining the class, or if you have any questions, feel free to contact me in advance to find out more about it, or to make your decision as to whether this is the kind of class that you would enjoy studying along with me. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Debbie Reinisch, and I'm going to be teaching the language of film this fall on Wednesday mornings at 9:30 at the Berkshire Museum. This is an in-person class, and we're starting on the 20th. I've been a film and television director and producer for many years. I've also had the good fortune to teach directing, production, and film history to undergraduates at NYU, Tisch School of the Arts, and also to graduate students at Brooklyn College. But I've never taught adults before, so I'm really hoping you'll join me so that I can learn a lot from you. This is a class on visual storytelling. When we go, principally the movies that we see in theaters, theatrical films, narrative films. When we go to the movies, we're looking for a satisfying emotional journey. Maybe we want to be challenged, maybe we want to be delighted, maybe we want to be moved or disturbed. But sometimes we have a very satisfying experience, and other times we really don't. What makes the difference? That's what we're going to look at. It starts with a script. Every movie starts with a script. Some are good and some are bad. But the truth is that 5 directors would make 5 very different films with that very same script. So again, what makes the difference? The difference is how the script is dramatized, how the story is told. It starts with a director having a strong vision for what the story is he or she wants to tell from that primary text. And then the real distinction is how he or she brings the elements of visual storytelling, what I'm calling the language of film, how he or she brings those elements to the service of the story. And that's camera, sound, design, assemblage, and performance. So that's what we're going to take a look at. We're certainly going to take a look at meaning. We'll look at the difference between the plot, the story, and the theme. We'll look at genre. We'll look at tone. But primarily, this is a class on visual style, on style, because I take the position that it is the choices that the director and his or her collaborators make in terms of camera, lighting, production design, costume design, editing, sound, music, and performance. It is these choices that create the meaning, the emotional impact, and ultimately our affection for a good movie. Every week I'm going to assign a classic film for you to take a look at it at home, come to class ready to talk about it. We'll also look at clips from other classic films that will augment our topic. I'll give you readings that I hope you'll find are interesting and fun. And we'll go to the film festival at Film Columbia, which is a sensational film festival the last week in October every year at the Crandall in Chatham. On Tuesday night, the 24th, Ollie is sponsoring the film. We will have discount tickets. Hopefully we'll go together. We'll talk about the movie the next morning. And actually, Ollie has done a terrific thing, which is create the opportunity for discount tickets for Ollie members for all the screenings during the festival. So I hope you'll take advantage of this and go. It's a 10-day festival and see lots of good movies. And I also hope you'll take the opportunity to join me in class. I think we're going to look at some very, very good movies, and I think we're going to have a lot of fun. So I hope to see you there.
Hello, my name is Harvey Weiss. I will be teaching a course on the operas of Giuseppe Verdi. The course consists of 7 lessons running from September 21st to November 9th. This will not be a Verdi's Greatest Hits presentation. Instead, it will be an in-depth examination of 3 of Verdi's mature masterpieces, La Traviata, Un ballo in maschera, and Aida. Each of these operas will be analyzed in 2 consecutive lessons. An introductory lesson will look at Verdi's early life up to the premiere of his first opera, Oberto, a brief examination of the operatic style which preceded that of Verdi, bel canto, and how Verdi's aesthetic differed from bel canto. Each lesson will utilize extensive audio and video material in addition to my contents and analysis. The course will emphasize the ways in which Verdi's music enhanced and intensified the emotional and dramatic content of his operas. In each of the operas, we will examine the devices and compositional choices which exemplify Verdi's skills as a dramatist who organically integrates his music into the text, not just a composer of pretty and catchy tunes. We will see how these operas examine the inner lives and emotional states of their characters, just as Shakespeare's plays did 2 centuries before. Now, Verdi was not just a composer of operas. He was active in the Risorgimento movement, which resulted in the unification of the Italian peninsula into a single political entity. He despised authoritarian regimes, both secular and religious, and we'll see how this found its way into his operas. Whether you are a novice or a regular opera goer, you will experience these operas in a new and different way, as an organic, dramatic whole, not just a sequence of arias. Thank you, and I hope to see you at my first lesson on September 21st.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Noelle Staples Freeman. I am teaching the African Rooted Dance class. This will be the second session of the African Rooted Dance class. Last session, we had men, women, couples attend our class, and it was wonderful. I hope to see all the people who participated last time, as well as newcomers. The African Rooted Dance class is a class where we explore dance, movement, and music from the African diaspora. The class is designed that we will all participate and learn movements in an easy format. And what you need to bring to class is wear something comfortable and loose that you can move easily in. This class is for all levels. We will be working in a wonderful gym, so we have lots of space at Berkshire Community College. And most importantly, we're there to enjoy the movement, the dance, and have fun as we learn the dance, traditional dance from the African diaspora. So I hope you join me, and I will see you on the dance floor. Thank you. Peace.
Hello, my name is Jean Randorf, and I'm offering a course this fall about the writer Colette. As a source material, we will be using a compilation called The Collected Stories of Colette, edited by Robert Phelps. This book is currently out of print, but widely available on used book sites. When I first thought about this course, my questions were, why Colette and why now? First, it is the 150th anniversary of her birth, so always nice to celebrate a birthday. And while her works are not widely read in the United States, she is one of the best-selling authors of all time in French literature. So what other reasons might we have for reading her stories here and now? I thought about this and came up with 3 big ones. Reason number 1, she was a keen observer of people and the society around her. Her interest was always in the private spaces in our lives, never metaphysics, never politics, but always the subtleties of relationships and emotions. She herself said, and I quote, "The human face has always been my greatest landscape." Reason number 2 for reading her stories is their relevance to us today. She asked questions that we are still asking ourselves today in our cultural life. For example, can relationships ever work? Can men and women ever live together happily? If not, can we live happily alone? As the saying goes, can't live with them, can't live without them. Can I ever make my mother happy? What does it mean to be a woman? I believe Ted Cruz asked something like this recently in a Senate hearing. What's our relationship with nature? And lastly, who are the outsiders in our society and why? Reason number 3 for reading these stories is her beautiful, lyrical, yet spare prose. She never tells the story, she shows it. Our very first readings were chosen to highlight the elements of her skill as a writer. First is her ear for authentic voices. In the story's Dialogues for One, we completely understand the personality of the speaker in spite of the fact that we only hear one side of the conversation. Second is le mot juste. She chooses just the right words to convey a person, a place, or an encounter in a believable way. Third is her lyrical, poetic prose that she uses to evoke sentiments and that we all recognize. Nostalgia, sensations of the natural world, and our longing to exist in that world. And lastly, her use of imagery. The story I chose to illustrate this is called The Sick Child. It's a wild ride through the mind of a seriously ill child that I just could not put down. I had to read it in one big gulp. So I hope I have given you a taste of Colette's work, and I look forward to our conversations about these stories. Please feel free to contact me if you have any questions. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Don Barkin. I'm the instructor for a course this fall term called the Pied Poetry Parade, reading great poems of all stripes from Donne to Glick. And the title, in a gaudy, clownish sort of way, is poetic. It's got alliteration in it, Pied Poetry Parade, a little bit heavy-handed. And pied means variegated, as in the Pied Piper of Hamelin, who wore clothes, he dressed in motley, patched clothes of all different kinds. And this course will contain poets of all different kinds, all different stripes. And the last thing in it, in the title that I noticed is it says poets of all stripes from Donne to Glick. But if you look at the line on the page, it looks like Donne to Gluck, which is assonance, a vowel sound, rhyming vowel sound. So that's a visual rhyme, but not a oral one, if you know how to say Glick. This is a class for people who want to read poetry with more confidence, more pleasure. It's for people of different degrees of experience reading poetry. I've taught similar courses a lot for Ollie, and it's a good thing to have people who have different reading backgrounds. We find often that what comes forward is their unique experience in life, and we hope everybody feels free to contribute in class. What strikes him or her about a poem, even a word or a phrase or a line that appeals to somebody's ear, even if she's not sure why. I'm going to read you a little poem that's in the anthology that I've made for the course. It's by a well-known poet, known to most people, Robert Frost, but it's an unusual poem for him. It's called Come In. As I came to the edge of the woods, thrush music, hark. Now if it was dusk outside, inside it was dark. Too dark in the woods for a bird by sleight of wing to better its perch for the night, though it still could sing. The last of the light of the sun that had died in the west still lived for one song more in a thrush's breast. Far in the pillared dark, thrush music went, almost like a call to come in to the dark and lament. But no, I was out for stars. I would not come in. I meant not even if asked, and I hadn't been. I've liked that poem for many, many years. As time has gone on, I've come to what I think is a greater understanding of what's going on in the poem. But I wouldn't begrudge myself all those years of pleasure in the sound of it and the imagery in it, the cleverness of it. It's in a kind of modified ballad form, a long line followed by a short line. As I came to the edge of the woods, thrush music, hark, 3 beats followed by 2 beats. Now if it was dusk outside, inside it was dark. That particular ballad meter is often used for poems that are about dark stories, stories in which people run into trouble. A long line followed by a short one, which feels a little bit perverse, just as we always hope our children will have bigger, more spreading lives, not diminished ones. We hope for the future. But this form to our ear sounds a little bit like cringing and withdrawing. And this poem has something dark in it. Fellow goes out, hears a bird in the woods singing. The sun's going down. And he figures it's too dark for that bird to change perches in the wood to find a better perch, but it still could sing. And that's the position of poets as well. That is, life can be difficult, even tragic, but we never lose the right and the capacity for singing about what's going on with us. So this is a poem I've always loved for its sound as well as its sense, for the way it sounds as well as what it means, which I think come mighty close together. It's the kind of thing we'll talk about in the class. The poets we'll read include Robert Frost, Elizabeth Bishop, John Keats, Emily Dickinson, and some fine contemporary poets, Louise Glick, Philip Levine, Henri Cole. We'll study the way that poets use traditional forms such as the sonnet, villanelle, the ballad, which I just talked about, to harness their passions, to make music out of them. One note, many of you might have taken one of my classes before. You're perfectly welcome to take this one. The reading list is fresh, new poems in the packet, and you can have a completely different experience, which also varies by who's in the room. So it's a new course in that way. It's always a new course. I hope it interests you and that I see you in the fall.